What do you think of when you hear the words manufactured home? At least in some parts of the Phoenix metro area, you might be thinking of a retirement community, walled up with rows and rows of mobile homes. In other parts, you might think of just the lone trailer that's hanging out in the middle of the desert. But reality's much more different out here. In the Phoenix metro area, there are over 85,000 manufactured homes. Can you believe it? I put this video together for you because I have been working with a lot of clients that are actually looking at manufactured homes, so I could give you some of the truths and realities of manufactured homes and how you can go about purchasing or selling one. For first-time buyers, retirees, or investors, these are great, affordable housing options. But first, let's get some definitions out of the way. Let's talk about what manufactured homes are and how those options can work for you. There's 3 different types of manufactured homes we're going to talk about today, and really in a lot of ways each one of these words are interchangeable. So we're going to talk about manufactured homes in a whole. So the 3 different types we're going to talk about are mobile homes, manufactured homes, and modular homes. So we're going to talk about the difference of each one. The one you're probably most familiar with is a mobile home. Those are those trailers that are up with the siding along the side. And the reason they're called mobile homes is because they're mobile. You can pick them up and move them wherever you want. They're not affixed to the ground in a meaningful way. The term mobile home is really referring to any sort of manufactured home that was built before June 15th, 1976. Now, June 15th, 1976, there were a lot of changes to the HUD requirements for building manufactured homes. So anything before June 15th, 1976 is a mobile home. So it has a lot of different restrictions. You can't get financing for them, but they're still around. The term manufactured home means any prefabricated home that was built after June 15, 1976. It meets a certain HUD code. In most cases, you can still get financing for it. It is fixed to a permanent metal chassis, and it has a HUD seal or tag on it that has information about the home, including what year it was built. These are homes that we're seeing being built today in many different parks and areas right now. So you can actually get a 2022 built manufactured home. They are out there and they're actually very nice. You can get them up to 4 bedrooms if you can believe it. The other term we're going to use is modular home. A modular home is a home that was prefabricated in a factory and then moved to a site or lot and built on a concrete foundation. A modular home is a manufactured home in a way, but they do retain their value a little bit more than a manufactured home, and you can get them in all shapes and sizes. There are actually custom-built luxury modular homes out there, and they are beautiful. You can get them designed any way you want. The only difference is they're built in a factory and brought to the lot afterwards where they're put together. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to use the term manufactured home to discuss mobile homes, manufactured homes, and modular homes because they are a little bit similar. There are some differences we'll talk about here in just a second. So let's talk about purchasing a manufactured home. This has been an option many of my clients have been looking into since the housing market has been going crazy and affordable housing keeps dwindling smaller and smaller. So manufactured homes, like I said, there's 85,000 manufactured homes in the Phoenix metro area. So those options pop up and they tend to be a little more affordable than your standard stick-built or traditional home. If you plan to be financing your home, so manufactured homes can be financed, you do want to work with a lender that is familiar with manufactured homes since they do have different rules and regulations, especially if you're using an FHA or VA loan. There is some strict guidelines on those, so make sure your lender is familiar with those. If you are financing your home, you want to make sure the manufactured home is at least newer than 1976, so it does meet the HUD codes. If it is older than the June 15th, 1976 date, you cannot get financing for it. It's going to be treated more like a car purchase in that situation. So your best option there is to make a cash purchase for that. In most cases, a manufactured home that you're financing has to be what you'd call a double wide. You can't usually do the single wide trailers or mobile homes or manufactured homes in that situation. They'd have to be at least a double wide to be financed. You're also going to need what's called an affidavit of a fixture. And what that means is that the manufactured home actually comes with the land that is under it. So when you buy the manufactured home, you're also buying the land that's under it. There are situations where you can buy a manufactured home and the land is not affixed, and you can lease that land, which means you can still also pick up that home and move it wherever you want. But in most cases, that cannot be financed. The affidavit of a fixture pretty much makes the home what's called real property versus personal property, much like a car. There's some other things you want to look at when you are researching manufactured homes that maybe you won't think about as much when you're doing a stick-built normal home. One is you need to know if it's in an age-restricted area. If you are not 55 plus and you're not eligible to be in an age-restricted area, then that home's not going to be for sale for you. Because manufactured homes can be built almost anywhere, you also want to check where your utilities are coming from. So you want to know where the electricity is coming from. You want to know where your water's coming from. Is the water coming from the city, or do you have to haul your own water to that location, which is absolutely a thing that happens out here, people hauling their own water. Also, in many cases, manufactured homes are not connected to a local sewer system. And in most cases, they have their own septic system that is connected to it. And there's absolutely no issue with the septic system. You just need to be aware of it and know how to maintain it. When you go to buy a manufactured home, you also want to know if there's an engineering certification attached to it. This is usually required for FHA and VA loans. The engineering certification is usually performed by a licensed inspector that goes to make sure that the home is structurally sound and tied down. They want to make sure that the footings have been established in concrete. They want to make sure that there's no drainage issues, that the crawl space beneath is nice and clean and won't flood or leak anywhere. If the seller of the home does not have an engineering certification already on hand, that usually needs to be done while you're in the escrow process. And you want to negotiate in the contract who's actually going to pay for that engineering certification. In most cases, the buyer pays for the certification to be done. That's somewhere around $500. If there are tie downs that are going to be needed or anything that needs the property to be more structurally sound, the seller is responsible for paying for the tie downs or anything that needs to be done to make it more structurally sound. After that, the rest of the sale is pretty much just like any other resale home transaction. You still would have your inspection period. You'd still go through an appraisal and all of that and close to get keys in your hand. Now, that is if the home is affixed to the land. Make sure you do have that affidavit of a fixture. If you are buying a manufactured home that is not affixed to the land, so this is where the home is on a leased land or leased lot. So you may pay a lot less for the home, but you are still paying a monthly rent to be on that lot. And this is pretty common, especially in like mobile home parks or manufactured home parks and communities. So in those situations, you normally cannot finance the home. You'd probably have to pay cash for the home. And it is pretty much sold as personal property, much like selling a car. So you'd still get a VIN number. You'd still put title through the DMV. In many cases, your realtor can still help you out with those transactions. There is a separate contract for homes that do not have an affidavit of a fixture, but your realtor can also see if an affidavit of a fixture can be done. It just maybe hasn't been arranged yet, so you can work through that. Or they can also help you with maybe finding a piece of land and building your own modular home on top of that. So even if you're looking at homes that have lease land, still ask your realtor for a little bit of help if you like. If you have a manufactured home and you are looking to sell your home, I had this happen a couple times where the home was given to them, maybe passed down through a member of their family that didn't know much about the home and didn't know everything that was entailed with selling the home. So basically, if you're looking to sell your manufactured home, these are some of the things you want prepared, or at least be prepared to have these questions asked. Was the home ever moved before? When was the home built? Does it already have an affidavit of a fixture? And where is it? Make sure you have that handy. If it doesn't, can we still get an affidavit of a fixture done? That's good to know, because if you can have that affidavit of a fixture done, that does increase your number of potential buyers that could buy that home. Does it have a title? Was it moved as personal property or real property, and is there a title attached to it? Does it need an engineering certification or tie downs? And if it does, who's going to pay for that? If you have all that information for your realtor, it will make the transaction so much smoother and give you lots and lots of opportunities to get great buyers into that home. So as you can see, a manufactured home can be treated much like any other resale home and can still help you build some equity that can be rolled into a larger home when you're ready to settle down, or maybe the market isn't as crazy, right? But yeah, you can get a nice home with 3-4 bedrooms and a little piece of land, and it's a great place to get started. So tell me in the comments about your experiences with manufactured homes. Have you ever sold one? Have you ever bought one before? And what your experience was, if it was different than any other resale experience that you may have known. And if you'd like to know more about manufactured homes, or just ask questions or talk more about them, my contact information's in the description below. I'd love to chat with you. Until next time, stay geeky, my friends.